students, we will be discussing the next portion now, that is blood vessels. Now, the blood vessels are that part which circulates blood. They are the branched tubes and they are extending from the heart to all parts of the body. And the vessels that carry blood away from the heart, it is called as arteries. The vessel that carries blood away from the heart, they are called, that is away from the heart towards the organ, they are called as arteries. And the very small branch of these arteries are called as arterioles. And the vessels that convey blood from various organs to heart. So that means arteries, the vessels that carry blood away from the heart towards any organ. That is, they are taking oxygenated blood. And the veins, they convey the blood from various organs towards the heart. That means they bring impure blood, that is deoxygenated blood. And their small branches are called as venules. Capillaries, they are minute thin wall vessels that connect the arterioles and venules. So they are the narrow tubes that connects the arterioles and venules. So this is the difference between arteries and veins. Arteries, they have a thick muscular wall. Veins, they have thin muscular wall. Artery, they have narrow lumen, that is central portion, central bow. Veins, they have a wider lumen. In arteries, blood flows in spurts. Spurts means that the movement with a sudden burst of speed. We can also think it's by jerking. The movement with a sudden burst of speed. So blood flows in arteries, it flows in spurts. Whereas in case of veins, it flows uniformly. So these are the differences between arteries and veins. There are some more differences are there, that this arteries, that all the arteries, they carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Arteries carry oxygenated blood. That's why it has been said that the vessel which carries blood away from the heart. Away from the heart means that is a pure blood they are carrying. So all the arteries, they carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. And veins, it is said that the vessels that convey blood from various organs to heart. That means they are bringing deoxygenated blood. So all veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. You have seen in case of heart, that is pure blood from lungs, it comes to left auricle by pulmonary vein. So all veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. Next, function of capillaries. So first function is it helps in outward diffusion of oxygen, that is into the intercellular fluid and from there into the tissue cells. Next, inward diffusion of carbon dioxide. It allows inward diffusion of carbon dioxide. From where? From intercellular fluid, from cell to cell fluid. It allows inward and outward diffusion of substances. Substances like glucose, amino acids, etc. And it also allows leukocytes, that is WBCs, to squeeze out. That is by means of amoeboid movement. Next, the capillaries, they also have a power of vasodilation. That is the power of dilating and contracting. That is called as vasoconstriction. Which respectively increases or decreases the blood supply to the body parts. The two blood circulations. Now, the blood actually it flows twice in the heart before it completes one full round. Blood, it flows twice in heart before completing one round. First is the short, this is the pulmonary circulation. And next one is the body, that is a systemic circulation. As blood flows twice in heart before it completes, so its one round is over, and after when it gives this two rounds, this one is the short pulmonary circulation and there is a long systemic circulation, the body circulation. That's why it is also called as double circulation. Next, this the pulmonary circulation, it starts with the pulmonary artery arising from this right ventricle. First, the pulmonary circulation. In this pulmonary circulation means it responds to lungs, and that circulation starts when this pulmonary artery, they carry impure blood from the right ventricle and reaches to lungs, and this impure blood gets pure and comes back to left auricle by pulmonary vein. This is about our pulmonary circulation. And this systemic circulation, that is, it starts with the aorta that arises from the left ventricle, and this pure blood through aorta from left ventricle, it goes to each and every part of our body. And again from there the blood is collected by veins and poured back into heart. This aorta, they sends the arteries to various body parts, because the arteries carry pure blood only, except pulmonary artery. All artery carries pure blood. So the aorta sends arteries to various body parts and tissues, and from there the blood is collected by the veins and poured back into this into the right side of the heart, that is superior and vena cavas. Through vena cavas it goes to right portion of our heart. So this circulation is called as systemic circulation. So this is the overall about the double circulation. Total, this pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation, total together they are called as double circulation. Next, hepatic portal system. This the hepatic portal system, it is a series of veins and that carry blood from the capillaries of stomach, intestine, spleen and pancreas to capillaries in the liver. There is a vein starting from the stomach and intestine. They cannot directly reaches to posterior vena cava. So at first they need to enter the liver. So that is called as hepatic portal vein. And that again, after reaching there, it breaks up into capillaries and they form a new vein. This is called as hepatic vein. And that joins the posterior vena cava. This full system is called as a hepatic, comes under hepatic portal system. Pulse. What is pulse? So pulse is the alternate expansion and elastic recoil of the wall of the artery during ventricular systole. Our pulse is our heart rate, or the number of times it varies from person to person also. So counting of the pulse we can do indirectly. We can say counting of pulse, that is indirectly the counting of the heartbeats. And this pulse rate, it increases due to some physical exercise or even during certain emotions. So what is pulse? Pulse is the alternate expansion and elastic recoil of the wall of the artery during ventricular systole. And the normal resting heart rate for adult, it ranges from 60 to 100 beats per minute. Blood pressure. Blood pressure, it is the pressure which the blood flowing to the arteries exert on their walls. We know that blood flows through walls, through the blood vessels. So the pressure that in which the blood flowing to the arteries exerts on their wall, that is called as blood pressure. And it also varies from person to person, and there are two limits are there. One is a systolic. Systolic means the upper limit, which is at the time when fresh blood is pushing through the artery as a result of ventricular contraction. And the lower limit is called as a diastolic. That is the opposite one. Now, the normal pressure, it varies. Normal pressure is about 120 to 129. This is the systolic, upper one. Then lower one will be below 80. Elevated one, that is 120 to 129 again, and that is the diastolic one is below 80. Now, it is mmHg. mmHg means millimeter of mercury. High blood pressure stage 1, that is 130 to 139. And the diastolic one, the lower limit is 80 to 89. High blood pressure stage 2, that is 140 or higher, or it is the lower one will be 80 or higher. Then hypertensive crisis, that is required to consult to doctor immediately. It is above 180 and the lower one limit is above 120. Next, tissue fluid and lymph. Now, this the extracellular fluid which bathes the cells of most tissues, arriving via blood capillaries and being removed via the lymphatic vessels. They are called as a tissue fluid. And that is as the blood it flows in the capillaries, the plasma and the leukocytes, the WBCs, they get leak out through their walls. And this extra fluid it baths the cells of most of the tissues. It is called as tissue fluid. And it is from this fluid the cells absorbs oxygen and some other substances, and in turn when they absorb oxygen, so when they give out carbon dioxide also. Next, lymph and lymphatic system. Now, lymph is a fluid that flows to the lymphatic system and is composed of lymph vessels and intervening lymph nodes. So, lymph is actually the clear white fluid, and that is made up of WBC, especially lymphocytes, that the cells that attack bacteria in the body. And they are composed of lymph vessels and lymph nodes. Next, the lymph is consist of only leukocytes, that comes under the cellular part, mostly lymphocytes. WBC is mostly lymphocyte, and it also contains some non-cellular part that includes water as well as solids like protein, fats, etc. Lymph, it helps to keep the body cells moist. It transports oxygen, hormone and nutrients to different part of the body and removes the metabolic waste from the cells. It helps to drain away excess tissue fluid and returns proteins to the blood from the tissue spaces. It helps in the absorption of fats from the small intestine. It helps in its supplies of nutrition and oxygens to those parts where blood cannot reach. Spleen. Now, a spleen is actually a fist-sized organ situated in the abdomen behind the stomach and above the left kidney. It is situated in the abdomen behind the stomach and above the left kidney. And the spleen also, it acts as a blood reservoir. That means in any case of emergency or some physical or emotional stress or due to some carbon monoxide poisoning, they release stored blood into the bloodstream. Spleen also produces lymphocytes. It helps to destroy worn out red blood cells. And in case of embryos, spleen produces RBC. So it comes under a lymphatic organ. It is a fist-sized organ, is a reddish brown in color, and it's situated in the abdomen behind the stomach and above the left kidney. So students, here we had finished this chapter and I hope that all of you understood. So let's do some home assignments. Question 1. What does the term double circulation mean? Question 2. When are the sounds loop and doop produced respectively during heartbeat? Question 3. Describe the structural differences between an artery and a vein. And question 4. What are the functions of spleen and lymph? So, we are finishing here. Thank you.